Meet Thích Minh Tuệ, a monk of extraordinary simplicity. In a small village in Vietnam, a monk named Thích Minh Tuệ walks a path of extraordinary simplicity and devotion. His life is a rare and profound example of how ancient wisdom can guide us toward modern peace. Thích Minh Tuệ lives by the teachings of the Buddha, practicing the 12 ascetic disciplines known as Ua with grave. These practices, eating one meal a day, wearing robes made from discarded fabric, living without money, are not just traditions, they are transformative ways of life. But who is Thích Minh Tuệ? Why does he choose such a challenging path? And what can his journey teach us about living with purpose and clarity? This is the story of a monk whose life bridges ancient teachings and modern inspiration. Why the story of Thích Minh Tuệ matters. Here in the United States, life is filled with conveniences and distractions. Yet many feel unfulfilled, disconnected, and overwhelmed. The story of Thích Minh Tuệ offers a striking alternative, a call to simplicity, mindfulness, and compassion. Join us as we explore the life of Thích Minh Tuệ, a monk whose journey of self-discipline and compassion holds timeless lessons for a complex world. Part 1. Moral Discipline, Gi. Moral discipline, or Gi, is the foundation of the 12 ascetic practices. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice is not just a rule, it is a way of life that shapes every thought, word, and action. It is the cornerstone of inner peace, cultivating a life rooted in compassion, mindfulness, and integrity. The essence of moral discipline. To practice moral discipline means to follow ethical precepts with unwavering commitment. These precepts serve as guides to a harmonious and liberated life, protecting both oneself and others from harm. The Buddha emphasized that these are not rigid commandments but compassionate principles meant to foster mindfulness and connection. For Thích Minh Tuệ, Gi involves non-harming, ahimsa, avoiding harm to all living beings, whether through action, speech, or thought. Truthfulness, speaking words that are honest, kind, and uplifting. Non-stealing, respecting the possessions and boundaries of others. Simplicity, living without greed or attachment to material things. Purity, abstaining from behaviors that cloud the mind, such as intoxication or indulgence. These precepts guide him not only in his actions but also in his mindfulness and compassion toward all beings. Moral discipline in action. Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ exemplifies moral discipline in every aspect of his life. Walking barefoot through villages, he moves with mindfulness, ensuring he doesn't harm even the smallest creatures underfoot. His speech is deliberate and kind, uplifting those he encounters. He lives with only the bare essentials, embracing simplicity to free his mind from distraction. One story vividly demonstrates his practice of moral discipline. During a journey, a villager walking beside Thích Minh Tuệ accidentally stepped on an ant. Feeling deeply apologetic, the villager expressed regret. With a gentle smile, Thích Minh Tuệ replied, "All life is precious, even the smallest. Let this be a reminder for us to walk more mindfully." This simple yet profound moment highlights how even small actions can reflect a deep commitment to compassion. The deeper meaning of moral discipline. Moral discipline is not just about following rules, it's about creating inner freedom. By refraining from harmful actions, the mind becomes calm and clear, like a still lake reflecting the sky. This clarity allows deeper self-awareness and connection with others. In the modern world, moral discipline offers an antidote to chaos and stress. It invites us to pause, reflect, and act with intention. Whether it's choosing words carefully in a conversation or being mindful of our impact on the environment, Moral discipline transforms everyday actions into opportunities for growth. Lessons from Giới. Integrity brings freedom. Living in alignment with ethical values frees us from guilt and regret, fostering a sense of peace. Small acts matter. Simple, mindful actions, like walking carefully or speaking kindly, contribute to a life of harmony. Peace begins within. When we act with compassion and justice, our mind becomes a sanctuary of peace and clarity. Reflection. Ask yourself, are my actions creating harm or healing? Am I living in alignment with my deepest values? What small steps can I take today to practice mindfulness and compassion? As the Buddha taught, to avoid all evil, to cultivate good, and to purify the mind. This is the teaching of all Buddhas. Through Giới, Thích Minh Tuệ reminds us that moral discipline is not a restriction but a path to liberation. It is an invitation to live authentically, with compassion, clarity, and purpose. Part 2. Living Simply, Rách. The second ascetic practice, Rách, reflects profound humility and detachment. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice goes beyond the surface of wearing simple robes. It is a daily reminder to let go of material attachments and focus on what truly matters: spiritual growth and service to others. The essence of living simply. In Buddhist tradition, Rách translates to wearing robes made from discarded or recycled fabric. This practice stems from the Buddha's teachings, where monks were instructed to craft their robes from cast-off materials, such as old clothes or scraps found along the roadside. For Thích Minh Tuệ, this is not merely about clothing, it is a symbol of living in harmony with the world. By wearing robes made from humble materials, he demonstrates gratitude for what is available and rejects the notion of excess. This simple act embodies the deeper Buddhist principle of renunciation, teaching us that contentment comes not from having more, but from needing less. A life of humility. Every robe Thích Minh Tuệ wears is sewn by his own hands, often using scraps of fabric given by villagers or found along his journeys. Each stitch is an act of mindfulness, a meditation on humility and gratitude. His robes are not designed to impress, but to remind him, and those he encounters, that true beauty lies in simplicity. One poignant story reveals the depth of this practice. During one of his journeys, a villager saw his tattered robe and offered to buy him a new one. Thích Minh Tuệ declined with a gentle smile and said, "This robe is enough for me. It reminds me of what I truly need and what I can let go of." This moment illustrates the essence of Rách, seeing beauty and sufficiency in what the world often overlooks. The deeper meaning of Rách. This practice teaches us that material possessions are not the source of happiness. In a consumer-driven world, the simplicity of Thích Minh Tuê's life offers a striking contrast. His tattered robes symbolize freedom from societal expectations and the courage to live authentically. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that the desire for excess only fuels dissatisfaction. By choosing to live simply, we reclaim our energy and attention for spiritual growth and meaningful relationships. Lessons from living simply. Contentment over consumption. Rách reminds us that we don't need extravagant possessions to live a fulfilled life. Gratitude in simplicity. Seeing value in what we already have cultivates a sense of peace and gratitude. Freedom through detachment. Letting go of the need for more liberates us from the cycle of comparison and envy. Reflection. Ask yourself, am I valuing what I already have? Or am I constantly seeking more? How can I simplify my life to focus on what truly matters? What possessions or habits am I ready to let go of to create more space for peace and purpose? As the Buddha taught, contentment is the greatest wealth. Through the practice of Chmcy Rach, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ reminds us that true wealth lies not in what we own, but in how we live. His life challenges us to redefine our relationship with material things and embrace the beauty of simplicity. Part 3. Eating one meal a day, Nht Bet Thc. The third ascetic practice, Nht Bet Thc, embodies mindfulness, gratitude, and restraint. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, eating one meal a day is more than just a physical discipline. It is a spiritual act that cultivates humility, simplicity, and awareness of life's interconnectedness. The essence of eating one meal a day. In Buddhism, the practice of eating one meal a day originates from the Buddha's instructions to his disciples. This discipline teaches moderation and mindfulness, ensuring that the body is nourished without indulgence. By consuming only what is necessary, monks redirect their energy towards spiritual growth rather than worldly desires. For Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice is an act of deep gratitude. Every bite he takes is a reminder of the kindness of those who provide his food, the interconnectedness of life, and the impermanence of all things. A life of gratitude and mindfulness. Each day, Thích Minh Tuệ embarks on an alms round, carrying a single bowl to receive food offerings from villagers. He accepts whatever is given with a heart full of gratitude, whether it's a handful of rice or a simple piece of fruit. The meal, shared by the community, becomes a sacred exchange, a moment of connection between giver and receiver. One moving story from his journey illustrates the depth of this practice. While on an alms round, a poor farmer approached Thích Minh Tuệ and placed a single sweet potato in his bowl. The farmer apologized for the small offering, but Thích Minh Tuệ replied, "This sweet potato is a feast, for it is given with kindness and sincerity. May we all learn to give and receive with such gratitude." This simple interaction reflects the profound spiritual meaning behind Nht Bet Thc, recognizing the abundance in simplicity and the interconnectedness of all life. The deeper meaning of Nht Bet Thc. This practice is not about deprivation, but about cultivating mindfulness and detachment. By eating only one meal a day, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ exemplifies how to live with less and appreciate more. It teaches us to see food not as a source of indulgence, but as a means to sustain the body for spiritual practice. In the modern world, where overconsumption is prevalent, this discipline offers a stark and necessary contrast. It reminds us to slow down, savor the moment, and reflect on the effort behind every meal. Lessons from eating one meal a day. Gratitude transforms simple acts. Even the simplest meal becomes sacred when approached with mindfulness and gratitude. Mindful consumption. By consuming only what we need, we foster respect for resources and reduce waste. Detachment from desire. Practicing restraint allows us to let go of cravings and find peace in sufficiency. Reflection. Ask yourself, do I appreciate the effort and kindness behind the food I eat? Am I consuming more than I need? Or am I practicing moderation? How can I bring more mindfulness into my meals? As the Buddha taught, contentment is the greatest wealth. He who is content is truly rich. Through Nht Bet Thc, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ teaches us that every meal is an opportunity to practice mindfulness, gratitude, and self-restraint. It is a reminder that true abundance comes not from what we consume, but from the peace we cultivate within. Part 4. Living in the forest, RNG. The fourth ascetic practice, RNG, reflects a profound commitment to solitude, simplicity, and connection with nature. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, living in the forest is not merely a choice of location, it is a practice of finding peace within and reconnecting with the natural world, free from the distractions of modern life. The essence of living in the forest. In Buddhism, living in the forest holds deep spiritual significance. The Buddha himself spent much of his life in forests, meditating, teaching, and practicing mindfulness. This environment, untouched by the complexities of society, offers a space of stillness and clarity where spiritual growth can flourish. For Thích Minh Tuệ, the forest serves as both a sanctuary and a teacher. It is a place where the mind can quieten, the heart can open, and the soul can reconnect with the rhythm of life. In the forest, he is free from material distractions, allowing him to focus fully on his spiritual journey. A life of solitude and connection. Living in the forest, Thích Minh Tuệ embraces the challenges and beauty of simplicity. He builds no permanent shelter, relying instead on the natural shade of trees or the cover of a rocky overhang. Each day, he meditates amidst the sounds of rustling leaves, birdsong, and flowing streams, finding harmony in the natural world. One remarkable story highlights the depth of his connection with nature. During a stormy night, a villager offered to bring him into their home for shelter. Thích Minh Tuệ kindly declined, saying, "The forest is my home, and this storm is its way of speaking. In its voice, I hear the lessons of impermanence and resilience." This profound perspective reflects his ability to find peace even in nature's chaos, teaching us to embrace life's challenges with grace and acceptance. The deeper meaning of RNG. This practice is not about escaping the world but about returning to its essence. The forest symbolizes simplicity and the impermanence of life. By living among the trees, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ reminds us that everything in life is temporary, yet interconnected. In today's fast-paced, urbanized world, this practice offers a powerful lesson: to step away from distractions and reconnect with nature as a source of peace and wisdom. Lessons from living in the forest. Simplicity brings clarity. In the stillness of nature, we find space to reflect and understand ourselves more deeply. Harmony with nature, recognizing that we are part of the natural world, fosters respect and gratitude for its beauty. Acceptance of impermanence. The forest, with its cycles of growth and decay, teaches us to accept the transient nature of life. Reflection. Ask yourself, when was the last time I truly connected with nature? Can I find moments of stillness in my busy life? How can I embrace the lessons of impermanence and simplicity? As the Buddha taught, the forest is a peculiar organism of unlimited kindness and benevolence. It makes no demands, it provides shade to all. Through RNG, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ reminds us that the forest is not just a physical space, it is a state of mind. By embracing its lessons, we can find peace within and carry it with us wherever we go. Part 5. Avoiding money, Không Dung Tiền. The fifth ascetic practice, Không Dung Tiền, exemplifies total renunciation of material dependency. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, living without money is not a sacrifice, it is a profound statement of trust in the generosity of others and the abundance of the natural world. This practice reminds us of the impermanence of wealth and the true meaning of freedom. The essence of avoiding money. In Buddhism, the practice of not using money reflects a detachment from materialism and greed. The Buddha taught that wealth, while necessary for survival, can often become a source of attachment, fear, and conflict. By avoiding the use of money, monks place their faith in the kindness of others and cultivate gratitude for life's simplest provisions. For Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice is a daily reality. He relies entirely on the generosity of the communities he serves. Accepting food, water, or shelter offered with sincerity. In return, He offers spiritual guidance, teachings, and blessings, a profound exchange rooted in mutual respect and kindness. A life without money. Each day, Thích Minh Tuệ walks barefoot through villages, carrying nothing but his alms bowl and the robes on his back. He accepts only what is freely given, never asking for more than he needs. His life is a testament to the trust that arises from living in harmony with others. One remarkable story illustrates this practice. During a long journey, a villager offered him money. Concerned for his well-being, Thích Minh Tuệ gently declined, saying, "The kindness in your heart is far more valuable than coins. I need nothing more than what life already provides." This response left the villager deeply moved, understanding that true wealth lies in generosity and connection. The deeper meaning of Không, Dùng, Tiền. Avoiding money challenges us to rethink our relationship with wealth. In a world where success is often measured by financial gain, this practice offers a counterpoint, that true success lies in how we live, not what we own. For Thích Minh Tuệ, living without money is a form of liberation, a life free from the worries of accumulation, loss, or comparison. This practice also emphasizes interdependence. By relying on the generosity of others, monks like Thích Minh Tuệ remind communities of the joy and value of giving. It creates a cycle of compassion, where both the giver and receiver benefit. Lessons from avoiding money. Freedom through detachment. Letting go of financial dependency allows us to focus on what truly matters: relationships, purpose, and peace. The joy of giving, acts of generosity, no matter how small, create profound connections and meaning. Reevaluating wealth. True wealth is not found in possessions, but in the quality of our actions and the depth of our gratitude. Reflection. Ask yourself, am I overly attached to material wealth? How can I cultivate gratitude for what I already have? What small acts of generosity can I practice today? As the Buddha taught, the rich man is not one who has much, but one who gives much. Through Không, Dùng, Tiền, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ shows us that a life without money is not a life of poverty, it is a life of freedom. By trusting in the goodness of others and embracing simplicity, we can rediscover what it means to live with intention and grace. Part 6. Sleeping Sitting Up, Ngi Không Nm. The sixth ascetic practice. Ngi Không Nm is one of the most physically demanding and spiritually enriching disciplines of the 12 UA with grave practices. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, sleeping in a seated position is a daily commitment to mindfulness, discipline, and detachment from worldly comfort. This practice exemplifies the pursuit of freedom from physical dependence and the cultivation of spiritual resilience. The essence of sleeping sitting up. In the Buddha's time, this practice was meant to remind monks that even rest should be mindful. By choosing to sleep sitting up, practitioners reduce the tendency toward laziness and instead turn rest into an opportunity for deep meditation and inner reflection. For Thích Minh Tuệ, Ngi Không Nm is not just about enduring discomfort, it is about developing the strength to remain present and unshaken, even during sleep. This practice reflects his belief that spiritual growth requires effort, humility, and a willingness to step beyond the limits of physical comfort. A life of restful awareness. Every evening, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ settles into a seated posture, often under a tree or in a quiet corner of a forest. With his legs crossed and his hands resting on his lap, he prepares for a night of restful awareness rather than indulgent sleep. Even in the stillness of the night, his practice serves as a continuation of his mindfulness journey. One memorable account tells of a night during the rainy season. Thích Minh Tuệ, meditating under a makeshift shelter of leaves, was offered a dry mat and a place to lie down by a kind villager. He gently declined, saying, "The ground is soft enough for my body, and the rain is a gift for my mind. I rest in gratitude for this moment." This small yet profound moment illustrates his unwavering dedication to Ngi Kong Nm, showing that even discomfort can be an opportunity for growth. The deeper spiritual significance. Sleeping sitting up is not about self-punishment, it is about transforming rest into an act of mindfulness. The physical posture serves as a reminder that even in moments of stillness, we can cultivate discipline and awareness. In today's world, this practice offers a valuable lesson. Many of us equate comfort with happiness. But Ngi Kong Nm teaches that true peace arises not from external conditions but from an unshaken mind. By letting go of the need for constant comfort, we build resilience and find contentment in simplicity. How this practice impacts daily life. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, Ngi Kong Nm enhances his ability to stay mindful in all situations. The practice keeps him grounded in the present moment, even during rest. Detached from physical desires, by letting go of the need for comfort, he strengthens his spiritual resolve. Embrace simplicity. It reminds him that life's essentials are few and that peace comes from within. Lessons from sleeping sitting up. Discipline strengthens the mind. Small acts of discipline, like sleeping in a seated position, build mental fortitude and focus. Comfort is temporary. Learning to rest without indulgence fosters detachment and deeper awareness. Peace is found within. By turning inward, we discover that rest is not about luxury but about balance and stillness. Reflection. Ask yourself, am I overly attached to physical comfort in my daily life? What small changes can I make to cultivate discipline and mindfulness in moments of rest? How can I find contentment in simplicity? As the Buddha taught, by effort, vigilance, discipline, and self-control, the wise become like islands, which no flood can overwhelm. Through Ngi Kong Nm, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ teaches us that even the simplest acts, like resting, can be transformed into opportunities for growth. This practice invites us to reimagine rest, not as indulgence, but as a time to deepen awareness and build resilience. Part 7. Meditating in Solitude, CC Thin. The seventh ascetic practice, CC Thin, represents the ultimate commitment to self-discovery and spiritual growth. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, meditating in solitude is not about escaping the world but about delving deeply into the inner self. Free from distractions and external influences, this practice is the foundation of clarity, compassion, and true wisdom. The essence of meditating in solitude. In Buddhist tradition, solitude is seen as a powerful tool for liberation. The Buddha himself often retreated to forests and mountains to meditate alone, emphasizing the importance of silence and self-reflection. Solitude allows the mind to quiet, creating space to observe thoughts, emotions, and the nature of reality without judgment or interference. For Thích Minh Tuệ, CC Thin means spending extended periods in complete isolation, immersed in meditation and contemplation. By removing himself from the distractions of society, he cultivates a profound awareness of the impermanence and interconnectedness of all things. A life of quiet reflection. Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ often seeks remote forests, caves, or mountains to practice CC Thin. In these serene and natural environments, he finds the stillness necessary for deep meditation. Hours, even days, pass in silence as he observes his breath, thoughts, and the subtle truths of existence. One story captures the essence of this practice. During a retreat in a secluded mountain cave, a storm raged for days, cutting off all access to the outside world. A villager who eventually reached the area asked if he had been frightened or lonely. Thích Minh Tuệ smiled and said, "The storm reminded me of the mind's turbulence. In solitude, I watched the storm pass, both outside and within. Peace is not the absence of storms, but the ability to remain still amidst them." This insight reflects the transformative power of Thin, where solitude becomes a mirror for the soul. The deeper meaning of Thin. Meditating in solitude is not an act of isolation, but a practice of connection to oneself, to nature, and to the universe. By stepping away from the noise of the world, practitioners gain clarity and insight into life's impermanence and interdependence. In the modern world, where constant connectivity and information overwhelm the mind, this practice offers a necessary antidote. It invites us to step back, embrace silence, and rediscover the peace that lies within. Lessons from meditating in solitude. Clarity through silence. In solitude, the mind becomes a still pool, reflecting truths that are often obscured by daily distractions. Inner strength. Solitude teaches resilience and self-reliance, empowering us to face life's challenges with a calm and steady mind. Connection to the present. By retreating from the chaos of the world, we can fully experience the beauty and depth of the present moment. Reflection. Ask yourself, when was the last time I allowed myself to truly be alone with my thoughts? Am I using distractions to avoid self-reflection? How can I incorporate moments of silence into my daily life? As the Buddha taught, solitude is happiness for one who is content, who has heard the Dhamma, and who sees the truth. Through Thin, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ shows us that the most profound wisdom and peace come not from external achievements but from quiet moments of self-awareness. In solitude, we find the stillness to see ourselves clearly and the strength to embrace life's impermanence with grace. Part 8. Avoiding proximity to villages. Không, Làng. The eighth ascetic practice, Không, Làng, reflects the discipline of maintaining physical and mental distance from the distractions of society. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice is a way to safeguard his spiritual focus by living in remote areas, far from the noise and temptations of everyday life. The essence of avoiding proximity to villages. This practice stems from the Buddha's teachings, where monks were encouraged to seek solitude in forests, caves, or open spaces. The purpose of Không, Làng is to prevent attachment to worldly comforts and distractions while fostering a deep connection to nature and the inner self. For Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice serves as a reminder of his spiritual purpose. By staying away from villages and towns, he avoids becoming entangled in societal routines or materialistic concerns, dedicating his life entirely to meditation and mindfulness. A life rooted in solitude. Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ often chooses to live in forests or on mountains, far from human settlements. This separation allows him to focus entirely on his spiritual journey, free from the pull of societal expectations. One story illustrates his commitment to this practice. During a meditation retreat, villagers nearby offered to build him a small hut closer to their homes for convenience. He gently declined, saying, "The further I am from the noise of the world, the closer I feel to the truths within. My path is one of silence and solitude." This profound response reflects his unwavering dedication to simplicity and detachment, even when comfort is readily offered. The deeper meaning of Không, Làng. Avoiding proximity to villages is not about rejecting society but about creating space for spiritual clarity. By distancing oneself from distractions, Practitioners can focus on inner transformation and cultivate peace of mind. This practice reminds us that meaningful growth often requires stepping away from the noise of the world. In the modern context, this practice teaches the importance of finding balance. Even in a connected world, carving out moments of solitude can help us reconnect with ourselves and find clarity amidst life's chaos. Lessons from avoiding proximity to villages. Solitude enhances focus. Stepping away from distractions creates space for deeper reflection and growth. Detachment from comfort. True contentment arises not from proximity to convenience but from connection to the present moment. Clarity through simplicity. By simplifying one's environment, the mind becomes more receptive to spiritual insights. Reflection. Ask yourself, am I creating enough space in my life for silence and solitude? How can I limit distractions to focus on what truly matters? What steps can I take to reconnect with my inner self? As the Buddha taught, solitude is happiness for one who is content, who has learned the truth, and who has transcended desires. Through Không and Không Làng, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ teaches us that sometimes the greatest clarity comes not from engagement but from intentional distance. By stepping back from the noise of the world, we create space for deeper connection and understanding. Part 9. Using only what is necessary. Không Dùng Nhiều. The ninth ascetic practice, Không Dùng, emphasizes living with minimal possessions and using only what is essential. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice is a daily reminder of the impermanence of material things and the freedom that comes from letting go of excess. The essence of minimal possessions. In Buddhist tradition, monks are encouraged to own only a few essential items: a robe, an alms bowl, a water filter, and sometimes a small mat for sitting. This practice reflects the Buddha's teaching that material possessions, while sometimes necessary, can also create attachment and distraction. For Thích Minh Tuệ, Không Dùng is more than a guideline, it is a spiritual discipline that aligns his life with simplicity and mindfulness. By owning only what he truly needs, he focuses on his inner journey without being weighed down by unnecessary burdens. A life of minimalism. Venerable Thích Minh Tuê's possessions are few and humble. His robes are sewn from discarded fabric. His alms bowl is his only tool for food. And his living space is wherever the day takes him, under a tree, in a cave, or beside a stream. Each item he carries serves a purpose, and nothing is kept for indulgence or comfort. One touching story reveals the depth of this practice. A wealthy villager once offered Thích Minh Tuệ a luxurious robe as a gift. While grateful for the gesture, he gently declined, saying, "I already have what I need. This robe could serve someone who needs it more than I." This act of humility and mindfulness demonstrated his unwavering commitment to Không Dùng, teaching others the value of contentment. The deeper meaning of Không Dùng. This practice teaches that true freedom comes not from accumulation but from detachment. By owning less, we create space for what truly matters: spiritual growth, meaningful relationships, and inner peace. In a modern world driven by consumerism, Không Dùng offers a powerful lesson. It challenges us to reconsider the role of material possessions in our lives and invites us to simplify, declutter, and focus on what brings genuine fulfillment. Lessons from using only what is necessary. Freedom in simplicity. Owning less frees us from the anxiety of protecting and maintaining possessions. Contentment with enough. Recognizing sufficiency helps us appreciate what we have without craving more. Focus on what matters. By reducing distractions, we can redirect energy toward personal growth and connection. Reflection. Ask yourself, do I own more than I need? And is it adding unnecessary stress to my life? What possessions can I let go of to simplify my environment and mind? How can I cultivate gratitude for what I already have? As the Buddha taught, a wise person does not hoard. The more he gives, the more he receives. The less he owns, the freer he becomes. Through Congress Who Knew, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ shows us that minimalism is not about deprivation, it is about abundance in simplicity. By letting go of excess, we gain the clarity and peace to live with intention and gratitude. Part 10. Walking Everywhere, I Chân Không. The 10th ascetic practice, I Chân Không, represents the discipline of walking barefoot as a way to connect with the earth, cultivate mindfulness, and live a life of humility. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, walking without shoes is not merely a physical act, it is a profound spiritual practice that deepens his awareness of the present moment and strengthens his commitment to simplicity. The essence of walking barefoot. Walking barefoot, as taught by the Buddha, is a way for monks to live in harmony with nature and to develop gratitude for every step. It eliminates the barriers between oneself and the earth, creating a sense of interconnectedness with all living beings. This practice also fosters resilience, teaching practitioners to endure discomfort with grace and acceptance. For Thích Minh Tuệ, I Chân Không is a daily act of mindfulness. Each step he takes is deliberate, reminding him to live fully in the present moment. Walking barefoot also reflects his commitment to humility, as it removes the sense of separation and privilege that shoes can symbolize. A life of connection and mindfulness. Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ walks long distances barefoot, whether through forests, along rural roads, or in bustling villages. His journey is slow and deliberate, embodying mindfulness and gratitude for the path beneath his feet. One memorable story highlights the depth of this practice. On a scorching summer day, a villager noticed the rough and blistered condition of his feet. Concerned, they offered him a pair of sandals. Thích Minh Tuệ kindly declined and said, "The earth supports us with every step. Walking barefoot allows me to honor its generosity and stay grounded in gratitude." This response left the villager deeply moved, reflecting the profound humility and mindfulness embedded in I Chân Không. The deeper meaning of I Chân Không. Walking barefoot is more than a physical practice, it is a spiritual journey. By removing the barriers between himself and the earth, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ embodies the Buddha's teaching of interconnectedness and impermanence. Each step becomes a meditation, a reminder of life's transience and the importance of living with intention. In today's fast-paced world, this practice teaches the value of slowing down and reconnecting with the present. It challenges us to reconsider the comforts we take for granted and invites us to find meaning in the simplest acts. Lessons from walking barefoot. Mindfulness in movement, every step, when taken with awareness, becomes a meditation on the present moment. Connection with nature, walking barefoot fosters a deeper relationship with the earth and a sense of gratitude for its support. Humility and simplicity, by removing unnecessary comforts, we cultivate humility and appreciation for what we have. Reflection. Ask yourself, am I rushing through life? Or am I taking time to appreciate the ground beneath my feet? What small comforts can I let go of to reconnect with simplicity? How can I bring mindfulness into my daily movements? As the Buddha taught, walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. Through I Chân Không, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ teaches us that the path to peace is not found in speed or luxury but in mindful, humble steps. By walking barefoot, we reconnect with the earth, honor its support, and find joy in life's simplest moments. Part 11. Avoiding attachment to specific places, Kong Sin Ha Ka. The 11th ascetic practice, Không Ka, emphasizes the principle of non-attachment by avoiding permanent dwellings or fixed homes. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice is a profound expression of freedom, teaching that true stability comes not from physical spaces but from the clarity and peace cultivated within. The essence of avoiding attachment to places. In Buddhist teachings, the practice of avoiding permanent homes reminds practitioners of the impermanence of all things. By not becoming rooted in one place, monks embrace a life of detachment, humility, and simplicity. This lifestyle fosters adaptability and reinforces the understanding that one's true refuge is the mind, not material structures. For Thích Minh Tuệ, Không Ka means living without the security of a permanent shelter. Instead, he chooses to reside wherever the day leads him, under a tree, beside a stream, or in a small forest clearing. This practice helps him remain mindful of life's transient nature and deepens his trust in the path of the Buddha. A life of impermanence. Venerable Thích Minh Tuэ's journey reflects the essence of Không Ka. Each evening, he finds a new place to rest, whether it's beneath the stars or in the shade of a simple structure offered by kind villagers. By living this way, he demonstrates that peace is not tied to a location but comes from embracing life's impermanence. One touching story reveals the depth of his commitment to this practice. During his travels, a family once offered him a small hut to stay in permanently. Concerned about his well-being, he declined with a smile and said, "A house may protect the body, but it cannot shield the mind. My home is wherever I find the Dharma and the stillness within." This response reflects his unwavering detachment from physical comforts, teaching us the power of internal refuge. The deeper meaning of Không Ka. Avoiding attachment to places is not about rejecting the comforts of a home, it is about cultivating freedom from dependency. By living without a permanent dwelling, Thích Minh Tuệ reminds us that life itself is a journey, and our true home is found in the present moment. In today's world, where stability is often equated with ownership and permanence, this practice offers a transformative lesson. It challenges us to redefine our sense of security and to find peace in the ever-changing flow of life. Lessons from avoiding attachment to places. Freedom through detachment. Letting go of attachment to specific places cultivates resilience and adaptability. Home within. True stability comes from cultivating inner peace, not from external structures. Trust in impermanence. Embracing life's transient nature helps us navigate change with grace and acceptance. Reflection. Ask yourself, am I overly attached to my physical surroundings for a sense of security? How can I create a sense of home within myself, regardless of where I am? What does impermanence teach me about life and belonging? As the Buddha taught, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Through Không Ka, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ exemplifies that home is not a place but a state of mind. By living without attachment, he teaches us to embrace life's impermanence, finding freedom and peace wherever we go. Part 12. Remaining detached from relationships. Không Luyến. The 12th and final ascetic practice, Không Luyến, focuses on cultivating detachment from personal relationships and emotional ties. For Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice is not about rejecting connection but about transcending attachment, enabling him to approach all beings with impartial compassion and equanimity. The essence of detachment from relationships. In Buddhist teachings, attachment to relationships often leads to suffering, as it creates expectations, dependencies, and emotional turmoil. Không Luyến is a practice of loving without clinging. offering kindness and compassion without seeking anything in return. It reflects the Buddha's wisdom that true love is unconditional and selfless. For Thích Minh Tuệ, this practice means maintaining a heart open to all yet free from possessiveness or attachment. His interactions are marked by warmth and care. But he remains rooted in the understanding that all relationships are impermanent. A life of compassion without clinging. Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ is known for his ability to connect deeply with people while remaining free from attachment. He offers guidance, blessings, and comfort to those he encounters. But his mind remains steady and unattached. This allows him to serve others selflessly, focusing on their well-being rather than his own desires. One poignant story illustrates this practice. A young child once became deeply attached to Thích Minh Tuệ, following him during his alms rounds and refusing to leave his side. The child's parents expressed concern, asking how they could help the child let go. Thích Minh Tuệ gently explained, "Attachment is natural, but freedom lies in letting go. Teach the child that love is not about holding on but about allowing others to walk their path." Through this interaction, he showed how detachment can coexist with compassion, guiding both the child and their parents toward understanding. The deeper meaning of Không Luyến. Detachment from relationships is not about isolation, it is about loving with wisdom and clarity. By practicing Không Luyến, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ transcends the limitations of personal ties, offering boundless compassion to all beings without discrimination. In the modern world, where relationships often become sources of attachment and anxiety, this practice offers a transformative perspective. It teaches us to value connections while recognizing their impermanent nature, allowing us to love more freely and authentically. Lessons from remaining detached from relationships. Freedom in love. True love is free from clinging and possessiveness, allowing both individuals to grow. Equanimity in connection. By remaining unattached, we can offer care and compassion to all beings equally. Letting go of fear. Recognizing the impermanence of relationships frees us from the fear of loss and creates space for deeper understanding. Reflection. Ask yourself, am I clinging to relationships out of fear or insecurity? How can I practice loving more selflessly and unconditionally? What would it mean to value connection while embracing impermanence? As the Buddha taught, you can only lose what you cling to. Through Không Luyến, Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ demonstrates that detachment is not the absence of love, it is its highest form. By loving without clinging, we can approach all beings with kindness and equanimity, creating a world rooted in compassion and understanding. Conclusion. Embracing the wisdom of the 12 ascetic practices. As we reach the end of this journey through the 12 ascetic practices of Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ, we are left with profound lessons that challenge the way we live. Each practice, whether it's moral discipline, simplicity, solitude, or detachment, offers a path to freedom, clarity, and peace. Thích Minh Tuệ's life is a powerful reminder that true happiness and contentment are not found in possessions, comfort, or attachment but in living mindfully, with compassion and intention. His unwavering commitment to the Buddha's teachings inspires us to look inward and consider how we, too, can live with greater simplicity, awareness, and love. Final reflection. As you reflect on the wisdom of these 12 practices, ask yourself, what can I let go of to create more space for peace in my life? How can I live with greater intention and mindfulness? What small steps can I take to cultivate inner freedom and compassion? The answers to these questions are unique to each of us, but the path to finding them begins with awareness and action. Call to action. If this journey through the life and teachings of Venerable Thích Minh Tuệ has inspired you, Let's take the next step together. Glowing star, subscribe to our channel, where we explore timeless wisdom and spiritual practices that can transform your life. Speech balloon, join the conversation by sharing your thoughts in the comments. Which of the 12 practices resonated most with you? Bell, hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video that brings inspiration, insight, and peace to your day. Thank you for walking this path with us. Remember, the journey toward a more mindful and meaningful life begins with one small step. Let's take that step together.